Hi, third graders. Welcome back to our class Read Aloud. Tomorrow, girls, behind the gates. And we stopped mid-chapter yesterday in chapter 3 just because it's such a long chapter. And it stopped where the girls have given up all of their, like electronic devices. And now they're asking to even collect their personal items such as jewelry and that they'll take good care of it. So that's where we ended. So let's continue. All around me, the girls started taking out their earrings and pulling off their bracelets and necklaces. After losing our phones and notepads and music, this doesn't feel like such a big deal. I put my finger around my locket nervously. I don't know what to do. I would like to keep it safe, but I don't want to part with it. I'm just not so soon. I feel eyes burning into me when I turn to see that Mrs. Brewster is looking directly at me and directly at my locket. Responding to the order implied in her stare, I reluctantly reached back and unclasped my neck locket chain. My hand was trembling slightly. I can't stand to part with this. It would be like giving away my parents and my grandparents. I hid the locket in my closed palm. Glancing at Mrs. Brewster again, I was happy to see that she was no longer focused on me. She had moved on to staring down other girls who were hesitant about removing their items of jewelry. With my gaze still on the headmistress, I put my hand in my shorts pocket, letting the pocket fall into it. I hope they don't have any kind of metal detection device. I approach and deposit my earrings in a silver bracelet that I took from my pack. Fortunately, no sirens or alarms were blaring as I walked away, and my locket was hidden still in my pocket. But as I headed back towards Maddie and Evelyn, a different noise made me turn towards the building across the lake. A silver bus had pulled off in front of it. I see you all gazing curiously at that building across the lake, Miss Brewster says. Is that the boys' school? Someone asked. Mrs. Brewster cleared her throat, unhappy to be interrupted again. Yes, and I advise you to forget that it is there. It is off limits to you, completely off limits. The way around the lake and through the woods, here is a natural habitat of the poisonous rattler snake. And believe me, you do not want to be bitten by this venomous snake. It will kill you instantly. And for you swimmers in this group, this lake is so polluted that should you jump in and try to swim across, you will be too sick to make the trip back. Mrs. Brewster then stares at me again when she says this, and I don't know how to honestly feel about it. I guess I'm flattered that she recognizes that I'm a swimmer, but it also maybe gave away because of my build, but I start to feel a strange feeling inside. Evelyn Posner tilts her head. For a polluted lake, it sure is sparkly, she notes. Once more, Mrs. Brewster casts a sour and annoyed glance at Evelyn, but makes no comment. Wait for your name to be called, Mrs. Brewster yelled and instructed, and be ready to present your ID bracelet. Now, this wasn't a strange request. We're all used to holding on our wrist all the time at school or security checkpoints or that kind of thing. They might as well be surgically attached to our bodies instead of just linked around our arms. We can't even get into most buildings without a bracelet check. Annie Abity, Debbie calls out, reading from a clipboard. Alice Abbott. Annie Abity is a girl with the long dark hair, and Alice Abbott is her opposite, fair with brown hair. The girls step forward, raising their left hands. Now I expect Debbie to produce a scanner. But she doesn't. Instead, she holds up thick black clippers. I wonder what she plans on doing with those. I've never seen anything like that before. Maddie and I exchange a glance to each other. Our expressions now change into horrified stares of disbelief as Debbie raises Annie Abbott's wrist and the scissors. She looks like she's about to snip it off, but that can't be true. All of our lives we've been told that nothing can remove an ID bracelet. A gasp travels across the crowd of girls as a low electronic zap sound comes from the clippers. And in the next second, Annie's bracelet was now in Debbie's hand. Annie's eyes are wide. Her jaw drops in shock, and we all understand how she must be feeling. It's as though Debbie had removed one of her fingers. I slap my right hand over my left wrist and clutch it to my chest. This can't be happening. Without my ID bracelet, I won't be able to do anything to go anywhere. Without my bracelet, who will I be? I'm not even sure. Maddie and I just look at each other. What's going on? Maybe they'll scan them all together and return them to us later, Maddie suggested. Or they need to just keep them somewhere safe like everything else? Maybe. I guess so, I murmur uncertainly. I watch as girl after girl has her bracelet cut off. It's obvious that each one is disturbed by this. The girls frown and chewing their fingernails, and some even well up with tears, sniffling and rubbing their pink noses as they return to the group, empty-wristed. Jordan Baker, the pale blonde who was sitting beside Evelyn on the bus, approaches Devi. Cringing, she presents her arm to Devi and then pulls it back. Jordan can't bring herself to doing it, so Devi grabs Jordan's wrist and they start an awful sort of tug-of-war. Jordan struggles to pull away and Devi tries to hold the clippers with one hand and pry Jordan's wrist away from her body with the other. I need your bracelet, Miss Baker, Devi commanded. Jordan shook her head. I can't. Yes, you can, Miss Baker. This is for your safety. We were all now just staring at this showdown. Evelyn rolls her eyes when she hears the thing about the safety again, but everyone was too stunned to move. And with a sharp yank, Devi grabs Jordan's bracelet abruptly and snips it off. The girls look at her in a shocking disbelief, and then Jordan bends forward and throws up into the dirt. Some people are just way too attached, the coma girl cheers loudly. The tall tennis-playing girl snickers at the taunt, but she's the only one. The rest of us can totally relate to how Jordan Baker is feeling. Jordan stands up and sees Mrs. Brewster and Devi now glaring at her. Sorry, she mutters. I must be, car sick or something. I actually feel a little nauseated myself. I don't think I've ever been in a car or a bus as long as we just were, and I certainly have never been car sick, but maybe this is what it's like. Louisa Ballinger, Devi calls out. As I step forward to present my wrist, I feel a sharp kick of anxiety in the pit of my stomach, but try to conceal it by keeping my face expressionless. My skin tingles as Devi inserts the bottom blade between my bracelet and my arm. I look away as the electronic buzz runs up the blades of the scissors, and with a click, my ID falls free and Devi catches it. Quickly, she just tosses it into the metal box with all the others. I'm amazed at how emotional I feel. Tears collect in my eyes, but I force them down. It's as though I've been set adrift in some strange new world where no one knows me. I have no way to identify myself, and I'm frightened even though I know it's silly. Madeline Ballinger! I look to Maddie, but she's just an absent gazing over at the lake. Madeline Ballinger! Devi repeats more loudly this time. I poke Maddie and she turns sharply towards me. What'd you do that for? She asks. She's calling you. Maddie blinks, not understanding my meaning. Devi is now almost shouting, Madeline Ballinger, please come forward and present your ID bracelet. Oh, Maddie cries out with a start. That's me. Yeah, that's you, I say, gently nudging her forward. Maddie rushes over towards Devi and extends her arm. Sorry, I just didn't hear you, she apologizes. From now on, please pay attention, Devi insisted impatiently. I rub my forehead and sigh. How are we ever going to pull this twin thing off if Maddie can't seem to remember that her name is supposed to be Ballinger and not Fry? I'm surprised that Maddie doesn't seem to mind when Devi cuts off her bracelet. Is she relieved to get rid of her false identity? I think she is, because I know her well. I caught the glimpse of happiness that flashed in her eyes as Devi tossed that bogus bracelet into the metal box. But what's even more surprising to me, though, is that my feelings are hurt, I guess. I guess I'd assume that she'd be overjoyed to be my twin. Hadn't we always been closer than sisters? Stop, I tell myself. Maddie's no happier about this than the rest of us. She can't possibly be. As Maddie backs towards me, Evelyn raises her hand, and once more she doesn't wait to be called on before launching into question, and everyone is dying to ask. So when will we be getting our bracelets back? She says out. Miss Posner, let's clear something up right now. You need to wait to be acknowledged on before you begin speaking, Mrs. Brewster scolded Evelyn. This habit you have of speaking out whenever you feel the urge will not be tolerated here at Country Manor. Evelyn's eyes widened as she was shocked at what just happened. I only want to know, she repeats, holding her ground and refusing to apologize. When will our IDs be returned to us? When you leave Country Manor, said Mrs. Brewster. Excuse me? Evelyn says in disbelief. Well, you don't need them here, and we don't want them to be lost or stolen. This is for your protection. Why wasn't I surprised to hear that? They don't come off, Evelyn argued. They are permanently fastened to our wrists. They can't be lost or stolen. Well, there are ways to do it, Miss Brewster replies. She gestured over towards Devi, and Devi then holds up the electric scissor-cutting device, as you can plainly see. Teresa Balmer, Devi calls out, ending the debate between Evelyn and Mrs. Brewster. This isn't right, Evelyn grumbles. Don't worry about it, Maddie says comfortingly. We really don't need them while we're here. It's not like we're going anywhere. Speak for yourself, Evelyn says. Maddie gives Evelyn a reassuring hug, and I cringe in awkwardly. Still, as the cutting continues, I keep looking at my own bare wrist. I feel so strange without my bracelet, vulnerable or naked somehow. I definitely do not feel safe or protected. And that brings us to chapter 4 for tomorrow. Wow. Can you believe what is taking place? Woo! It's getting so good. I hope you're enjoying the book as much as I am. And I will see you again tomorrow, third graders. Have a great day.